What's good, everybody? It's your boy Halo Spades, aka Jose, here to bring you another tutorial for the draft format. So, what is draft, you say? Well, draft is another limited format, not like pre release. Instead, you get 3 packs, okay? You open them up, you open one at a time, and you pick a card and then you pass it. We're going to go into detail more on how to do that. So if this is your first time drafting, then this is the video for you. If you are a seasoned drafting person, then this is not really for you because you've got the experience that newer people do not have. So if you know anybody that is new to draft or you're trying to get them to come draft, have them take a look at this video. And if this video helps you out, make sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe because that is a free way to help the channel. So let's get on into how we do a draft. All right, so when you come to draft, you will be given 3 draft boosters. All right, most shops may or may not have this, but you will have a table captain saying how to, when to pass, when not to pass, type of things, open your first pack, so forth, and things like that. And what you will be doing is building a 40 card deck on the spot. And if you checked out my other video on how to be more efficient and gold fishing, make sure to do so over here, and it will explain a little bit more on how you can save more time after you're done drafting and building your deck. So how this works is your first pack, you open it up like so, or not like so, after your table captain has instructed you to do so. You remove only the token and everything else stays in the pack. Okay, and then you will go through it and you will pick the best card in the pack. And you will pass this card to your left. And the person on the right of you will do the same as well. Pick the best card. Okay. This format is very creature heavy format. So you're going to want to have a minimum 14 to 16 creatures in your deck and then about 6 to 8 other spells on top of 16 to 17 lands. Also, folks, I did not mention this in the earlier parts of the video, but this is a very important point to make. When you are drafting your creatures and or spells, you want to pay attention to your mana curve, okay? So it is suggested that you have for 1 drops 1 to 2, for 2 drops up to 7 2 drops, and then for 3 drops up to 6, and then for 4 drops 4 to 5 drops you want at least 3, and then 6+ drops you don't want to go excessive with this unless they are really powerful cards and you are ramping into that. So do take a moment to review this chart right here of the ideal draft mana curve. Okay, so please refer to this. This will help you out in the long run, because if you're grabbing every single 8-drop spell, chances are you're not going to be casting anything and your opponent is going to run right over you because they're playing something on turn 1 or turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. You don't want to go in limited for a very long time without casting a spell. Okay, so we're going to want to look for bombs, removal. So before I continue on to that, the acronym is BREAD, like the bread that you put peanut butter and jelly on. The first letter is bombs, so cards that will win you the game left unchecked. Removal, so if you don't get a bomb, find a way to remove someone else's bomb. Evasion, ways to get in and deal damage in the event that your opponent has creatures out. Aggro are things that help become more aggressive, help your deck be a bit more aggressive. And then there's D for duds, which is, just filler vanilla creatures, even maybe less than vanilla. So we'll go over it now, what a vanilla creature means. So what you do is you add the power and toughness together. So in this case, this would be 7. And the converted mana cost or mana value for all you newer players. You divide the added total by your mana cost. So we have 7 divided by 4. Roughly, that would be, it goes into it 1 time. So anything 1 or above is usually passes the vanilla test. And then you have the other text to help it out. Anything below a 1 is usually a very unplayable card, or may more than likely fall under the D status, which is duds. So in this case, we have this creature, which has menace. When it attacks a battle, you double its power until end of turn. This may or may not come in handy, but we're not going to just immediately pick that one out. This one is a pretty good card because it makes your creatures bigger. So this is a potential to grab. It is not a bomb by any means. So this one, you read what the card says and what it does. So far, it passes the vanilla test. So 4, 2, so times 2, so it's a 2. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, bolster 1. What does that mean? Choose a creature with at least... Don't worry about the mechanics. You get to learn them as you play. And we have these new types right here that are called battles. So you may come across this. And when this enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, tapped and shuffle. That's okay if that's what you're trying to do. But what we're looking for is bombs, removal, evasion. So far this is looking like a good pick. So because it has that 6 mana, 6 total power and toughness, 3 goes into 6 2 times, already passed the vanilla test. But also we have flying, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. So this is something that you'd strongly want to consider because it has evasion. It has potential to be a bomb. It's not exactly a full-on one, but because it needs other things to help it win the game. And then we have cards like this. So you just got to pick the very best card out of your pack. And this would be considered aggro because this, gets your creatures a pump. So from what this pack is, you're more than likely going to be grabbing this Chrome Host Seed Shark. This would be your better bet, mainly because it comes down early enough and it helps create creatures. So if you cast something that's a non-creature spell, which is a battle, new card type, so we're going to do that, pass that. And then someone will pass something from there, and then you pick a card until all of them are picked. Until all of them are picked. And once all the cards are picked, you review your cards and see what you have. And then you do it again with the second pack. But this time, when you open your second pack, obviously you have to wait for your table captain to say, hey, open your second packs. Or they'll say something along the lines of, hold your pack up if you're ready to go open up your next pack. Always take this out, leave the land in. And so now we're just going to look. That is weird. I've never seen blue creatures have trample before. But either way, this looks interesting. I don't know exactly what this does. Non-creature spells you cast have convoke. At the beginning of your end step, untap up to 4 creatures. That's not too bad. I mean, for the vanilla test, it's hard to really gauge on this one because this is not a typical card. This is a new card type. But this seems pretty good because you get 2 creatures out of it, and also you get a battle. But if you're also playing with this card, you have something that's a non-creature, so you trigger, and that would get you incubate X, where the X is that spell's mana value. So this already goes hand in hand with this. So that's a consideration. All right, now if this wasn't in here, I would say either grab this card or this card because these are both removal. See? And then on top of that, it also goes hand in hand with the first pick that you made. So this is a interesting decision to make. So you decide, do I want to grab this rare, which may or may not win me the game, and this ability is not that great. Non-creature spells, because you don't want to focus on non-creature spells. This is a game of creatures in this format. So in this case, you may want to go this route. And then you would pick that, and then you pass to the right instead of to the left. And then on your third and final pack, you open token out, land in, now this is a pretty good card to consider. Okay, that's the other invasion that we got. This card, holy cow, will beat the crap out of somebody. And you give this thing trample, people aren't getting out of it this alive. Honestly, this is a card that you say, hopefully you're in these colors, because we don't know what you would have had, whatever was passed to you. But if you are in these colors, this is your third pack pick, play it. This is what they would consider a bomb because of how strong that is. But let's say we didn't stay in those colors. Let's say we stayed in black and blue. So this would be something you'd consider because it's tempo. This would also be something to be considered because it's a good combat trick. So what you want to do is you'll want to attack, see if they do a silly block. Most people will see that this is not a good attack. Sometimes they will not see it, and then you play this and you kill their creature. So that's, these two right here are pretty good for you. Again, depending on what colors you picked, which is hard to determine since we don't have a full-on draft going on here, will determine what you pick in your last pack. But always do your best to pick the best card in the pack. So hopefully this helped you get a better understanding of how the game works. Remember, we're going to reiterate what are the things you need to do in a draft deck. You're going to want to either look for bombs. If you can't find bombs or don't have bombs, then you look to removal. And then if removal is not available, look to evasion. Evasion, what is that? We have things with flying. That's evasion. Things with menace, evasion. Things with trample, not really evasion, but it still comes through. Death touch, another form of evasion, but not exactly. But it's a keyword that will help you with combat damage in the limited format, which is draft. So this is a very creature-based format. Okay, so remember that when you're drafting. Also, when you're reviewing, make sure you review and count how many creatures you have, because you at least at minimum want to have a deck with 14 to 16 creatures. So hopefully this was very informative for you and helped you out. I have been doing draft for quite some time, and I do fairly decent at it, and I've also helped many others during drafts. Another thing you can do, in case you don't know this, here's another tip for you. You can change your deck up throughout the night. So if you don't like how your deck is, you can go through your pool that you have. You'll have 60 cards, no matter how you look at it. And you could just rebuild and do something different. You don't have to stick with the same archetype. Sometimes you're fortunate enough that you're able to do that, and sometimes you're not. But if you are able to, that's something you can do. So remember that. If you are trying to, make adjustments to your deck. This is a casual setting. It's not a full-on tournament. So you don't have to do any of the tournament rules. So if you have any further questions regarding draft, please feel free to leave a comment down below. But to you newer players, I wish you good luck in your draft, and I hope, most importantly, make sure you have a fun time. That's what this is about. This is a game. We gather together, and we're here to have a fun time. All right? So thank you once again for joining me. Stay safe out there. Be kind to yourself, and see you on the next video. Peace.